Most people who dream of leaving the city and starting a small farm always receive the same automated advice. They tell you to start with chickens. They tell you they are easy, that they lay eggs every day, and that they are the perfect gateway into the world of self-sufficiency. And you believe them. You buy the chicks, you buy the feed, you build the coop, and you wait. But there is a brutal reality that many discover too late, only after spending hundreds of dollars. The reality is that chickens are not always the most productive option. In fact, they are often a financial trap for the beginner. Think about it. You have to feed them for 5 or 6 months before you see a single egg. They are noisy, they attract predators, and if you are not careful, they can destroy your garden in a matter of minutes. The true value on a small property does not come from blindly following what everyone does on YouTube. It comes from choosing animals that work harder than you for every square foot available. Animals that produce more food in less time, generating consistent income without requiring massive investments that keep you awake at night. You need animals that adapt to real life, to your busy schedules, tight budgets, and limited spaces. But before I tell you about the 4 animals that outperform chickens, I have to share something much more important. It is the secret that distinguishes farms that thrive from those that go bankrupt in the first year. If you ignore this, it doesn't matter which animal you choose, you will fail. Here's the truth no one tells you. The number one mistake of new farmers is not a lack of money, it is a lack of focus. When you discover new opportunities, when you see videos about quail, rabbits, bees, or ducks, the natural reaction is to want them all. You want the honey, the eggs, the meat, and the milk. You want to create Noah's Ark in your backyard. But diversifying too soon generates exactly the opposite effect of what you expect. You end up with more work than you can handle. You make more mistakes because you are distracted. You have more unexpected expenses. And worst of all, you don't have real mastery of any system. Listen to me closely. Each species has its own rhythms. They have subtle health signals that you only recognize with experience. They have reproductive cycles that dictate your profitability, and feeding details that change depending on whether it is cold or hot. These things are not learned by reading books or watching 10-minute videos. They are learned by living a full cycle with the animal. That is why the most solid strategy, the only one that really works to start, is to choose a single species and dedicate 12 full months of obsessive focus to it. You have to learn everything: health management, breeding, real costs that don't appear in the guides, sales channels, and optimal production times. During that year, you will make mistakes, I guarantee it. But they will be mistakes concentrated in a single system, not 5 disasters happening at once. The financial benefit is clear. By mastering one species, you reduce losses, improve the quality of your product, and can charge premium prices because you know exactly what you are doing. When you finally add a second species next year, you will do so from a stable base, with cash flow and confidence. Now that you have the right mindset, let's talk about the animals. If I had to start over today, and my goal was pure profitability and efficiency, these are the 4 animals I would choose before even thinking about a chicken. The first one doesn't even need legs to work. I'm talking about an underground worker that transforms trash into gold. Red worms, or vermicomposting systems. Think about it for a second. The biggest cost on any farm is soil fertility. If you have chickens, their manure is strong and acidic. It needs months of composting before you can use it without burning your plants. But worms solve this problem at the root. They work silently, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They turn your kitchen waste, cardboard, and organic matter into worm castings, which is basically the best fertilizer on the planet. They take up no space. You can have them in stacked boxes in a shaded corner. They make no noise, they don't bother the neighbors, and you don't need to buy them expensive feed. While others spend money on chemical fertilizers or wait months for their compost pile to mature, you have a constant production of nutrient-rich fertilizer that you can apply directly. This is the basis of profitability, turning free waste into a valuable input without daily effort. The second animal is for those who understand that feed cost is the number one enemy. If you live in an area with access to grass or forage, you need to look at guinea pigs. Forget for a moment the idea that they are pets. In terms of grass to protein conversion efficiency, they are almost perfect biological machines. Just like rabbits, these animals solve two problems that affect almost every family today: the high cost of meat at the supermarket and the lack of sufficient land to raise cattle. Their feed conversion ratio is impressive. They need very little to produce a pound of meat compared to a cow or a pig. But the big difference with chickens is what they eat. The chicken needs grains, corn, soy, inputs that you have to buy and whose price goes up every year. The guinea pig, on the other hand, is designed to process fiber. They eat grass, they eat weeds, they eat what grows for free on your land. A single, well-managed female can have frequent litters and her young grow fast. From birth to table, the time is short. The space they require is minimal. You don't need acres of pasture, just well-ventilated cages or small pens. Plus, their meat is lean, high in protein, and low in cholesterol. You have total control over their diet, which means you know you are eating clean meat without hormones or antibiotics. And just like with rabbits, their manure is a cold fertilizer that can be used almost immediately. It is a closed loop of efficiency that chickens simply cannot match. But maybe what you need is not meat or fertilizer, but cash flow. You need money coming in fast to sustain your project. This is where the third animal comes in: quail. Quail solve one of the most frustrating obstacles of the small property: the wait. While many poultry birds need 5 or 6 months to start laying eggs, quail are sprinters. They reach sexual maturity in just 6 to 8 weeks. Think about it. In less than 2 months from hatching, you can already be collecting eggs daily. That is an almost immediate return on investment. A basic breeding group, say 1 male and 3 or 4 females, can produce up to 300 eggs a year, and they do it occupying less space than a standard dog crate. Each bird consumes only between 20 and 30 grams of feed a day. In simple terms, you spend less on feed, use less space, and have consistent production that doesn't stop. And let's not just talk about quantity, let's talk about value. Quail eggs are nutritional bombs. They contain high levels of protein, iron, and vitamin B12. But here is the market trick. Instead of selling them cheap, you can position them as a gourmet product. In local markets, they are often sold at prices that, per pound, double or triple the price of chicken eggs. They are perfect for kids, for appetizers, for pickling. Also, there is a technical advantage that is often overlooked: silence. Unlike roosters that crow at dawn and annoy the entire neighborhood, quail are discreet. They make almost no noise. This allows you to raise them even in suburban areas or backyards where chickens are strictly prohibited by municipal regulations. They are hardy, their care is simple, and if one day you decide you want to increase production, you can scale quickly in a single season. Quail are the definition of efficiency in a small space. Finally, we arrive at the fourth animal. This is for those who have a garden and fight against pests every season. If you are tired of seeing your lettuce devoured by slugs or snails, you need ducks. Ducks solve a problem that many small farms face without realizing it: pest control and the drop in production in winter. At first glance, they may seem similar to chickens, but in practice, they are very different work tools. First, let's talk about the eggs. Duck eggs are larger, have more protein, and more omega-3 fatty acids. Their texture is creamier, making them the best-kept secret of pastry chefs and artisan bakers. In many markets, they are sold at prices higher than chicken eggs simply because of their cooking quality. Also, many duck breeds are incredible winter layers, maintaining production when chickens usually go on strike due to the cold and lack of light. But where ducks really shine, where they really earn their place on the farm, is in their work as biological pest control. Ducks are voracious consumers of slugs, snails, and harmful insects. And here is the big difference. Unlike chickens, which have strong claws and a scratching instinct that can destroy the roots of your plants and leave your garden looking like a battlefield, ducks have webbed feet. They walk gently among the crops. They patrol, eating pests without destroying the garden. Some farmers report reductions of 50 to 70% in slug damage after introducing ducks into their rotational systems. Imagine not having to buy pesticides, not having to go out at night to hunt snails, and in return, receiving delicious eggs. Plus, they are tough animals. They tolerate cold and humidity much better than chickens and have fewer respiratory problems in rainy climates. You don't need a huge lake. A small plastic pool with clean water is enough to keep them happy. And since they actively forage for insects and weeds, they reduce your commercial feed bill significantly, sometimes by up to 30%. So there you have it. 4 options, 4 distinct paths. Profitable farming is not about following Instagram trends or copying what your neighbor does. It consists of choosing animals that adapt to your space, your available time, and your local market. When you align those 3 factors, the farm stops being a money pit and starts to feel stable. It starts to feel intentional. Maybe you don't need more animals. Maybe you just need to choose the right one for your current situation. I want you to take a moment right now. Don't close this and move on to the next entertainment video. Think about your land, think about your wallet, and think about your time. Which of these 4 resonates with you? Is it the worm and its ability to create fertile soil at no cost? Is it the guinea pig and its ability to turn free grass into meat? Is it the quail and its speed to return your investment in weeks? Or is it the duck and its dual function as an egg producer and garden guardian? Choose one, just one. Start small this season. Start even imperfectly, but start with a clear focus. Adjust on the fly, learn from the mistakes of that single animal, and improve. That is how true self-sufficiency begins, not with a hasty and chaotic expansion, but with firm and consistent decisions that build food security and financial independence step by step. That is the path to a more productive farm and a lifestyle that you can truly sustain. If you really want to build something that lasts, remember this: it's not about doing more, it's about choosing better. Make your choice today. Thanks for listening.